To me, Freemasonry is this amazing worldwide organization of brothers that are doing everything they can to improve themselves and the world around them. And it's as simple and as complicated as that.
Freemasonry is an international fraternity. We have many slogans, or the main one is, we take good men and make them better men.
Its real fundamental purpose is to build moral character in a human being and cause that person or help that person to become a good contributor to the society, to the benefit of mankind. That's what it means to me.
A number of years ago, we had a brother who unfortunately had cancer and passed away. But the last meeting he came to before that happened, he wanted to talk to the lodge, and so we gave him the floor. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house when we were done. But he talked about how amazing the fraternity was, and the fact that he'd never belonged to another organization where there wasn't somebody looking to stab you in the back, there wasn't somebody looking to crawl over top of you to get ahead. You know, we were all there for each other, to support each other, to help each other along in life. And that's truly the fraternity and what it means to me.
The word secret is kind of interesting because
there are so many misconceptions about Freemasonry. There are so many, stay off the internet, because there are so many people with the crazy conspiracy theories. I shouldn't say crazy, but with these far out conspiracy theories for us, running the world's governments. We had things to do with the Kennedy assassination.
We're going to take over the world. If our aim is to take over the world, we're not doing a real good job. It also makes it kind of difficult to do that when we have rules that say before, during, and after a meeting we're not allowed to talk about politics or religion. We're an inclusive group. We want unity. Those are divisive subjects. We don't talk about them. Well, how are we going to take over the world if we don't talk about politics or religion before, during, or after a meeting?
There's not a lot we don't tell anyone anymore, I'll be honest with you. Again, there was a generation thing where there were people who didn't talk about, people would have been like my grandfather's age or whatever, who didn't talk about the Freemasonry. And so their sons didn't join because they had no idea how to join. But we're not a secret society. Our name's on the front of the building, we have lights, our members have their license plates, we wear rings, we wear t-shirts, and so everyone knows who we are and that we're Freemasons. Again, maybe it makes us live our lives a little better because of that.
So a lot of the misconceptions, the misconceptions of oh, they're devil worshippers. No, we're not. Oh, they have their own God, you have to pray to that God. No, we don't. You can believe whatever you want to believe. There's no religion you have to subscribe to. There's no, set of beliefs that you must say, I believe in X, Y, Z. It's not like that. And so a lot of the misconceptions spin around that.
Freemasonry is more ancient than time immemorial, as they say.
Officially, our history in contemporary Masonry goes back to 1717 in England.
On paper, officially Freemasonry starts then, and there are written records and scraps and fragments that date back to the 1300s, and mythically we trace our roots back to the Old Testament building of King Solomon's temple.
King Solomon had an awful lot of entered apprentices, which are the basic workers, and fellows of the craft, which were a little bit more knowledgeable, and only 2 or 3 master masons. He selected some of the people that he thought were of good character and had meetings with them after work and taught them how to use Masonic tools to live their lives better. So tradition tells us we go back to King Solomon's temple. We can prove mid-1600s.
you can interpret anything you want and read into anything you want, but it would lead you to believe that we existed in some form since then. You know, the form we exist in today may not be the same form we existed in then, but something existed, something that we've drawn from and continue with. It's impressive for us as Freemasons to realize what crucial roles we did play in the founding of our country. When Washington was in New York City to be inaugurated, it was realized at the last minute that there wasn't a Bible for him to take his oath of office on. And Washington, in his infinite wisdom, a man far beyond his years, in understanding how this country was being formed and how what he did then would affect us even today, realized that if he dispatched his personal aid to the Protestant church to retrieve the Bible, then everyone in the country would assume that the Protestant faith was the faith of the country. Or if he dispatched him to the Catholic Church to retrieve the Bible off the altar there, then everyone would assume that Catholicism was the religion of the country. Again, we just come from England where there was a national religion, and so that was the farthest thing what he wanted to support. Again, he was a very religious and spiritual man, but he didn't want to make the people think that there was a national religion. So instead he dispatched his aide to St. John's Lodge in New York City, and they retrieved the Bible from the altar there, a lodge of Freemasons. That Bible still travels today. It doesn't travel by air. It travels with 3 brethren of the lodge at all times. It's in their possession. It's handled very delicately because, again, of its age.
The Wood County Lodge was established in 1843. It was founded in the top of a farmer's barn in Tuntogany.
We didn't have automobiles, so people came on horseback.
And it moved around a couple of times over the years as the lodge grew and as location needed to be switched.
We are chartered by the Grand Lodge of Ohio. The Grand Lodge of Ohio is one of 50 Grand Lodges in the United States. They have no control over each other. They are autonomous bodies. Okay, so there's not like an overarching national Grand Lodge. There is no Grand Lodge above the Grand Lodge of Ohio.
The Grand Lodge granted us a dispensation that allowed us to meet for a year, after which then we were granted a charter, which hangs upstairs, a copy of which hangs upstairs. The original is housed at the Grand Lodge of Ohio in Springfield now, in a hermetically sealed vault to keep it from deteriorating anymore. It's roughly 160 years old, 169 years old actually. We at Wood County Lodge have always had the benefit of growing and being a very stable lodge.
We've been in this building here since the 20s, and it's developed over time just by men who wanted to seek out something more, something bigger than themselves, something to belong to, and something to aspire to, and they found Freemasonry. And so it's these men of character and these men of quality who have over the years become part of the lodge that have kept it continuing and developing all this time.
This is probably the only lodge in the world, not the United States, only lodge in the world that completed degrees, made Master Masons, of 3 men on the same day. One was obligated on a Bible, one was obligated on a Tanakh, which is the Jewish holy book, one was obligated on a Quran, and the master of the lodge on that day was a black man. You want to talk about the universal brotherhood of mankind? That's probably never been done anywhere in the whole world, to make Master Masons 3 different religions the same day with a black man being master.
Masonry is a lifelong commitment, but it's an easy choice to make if you've decided to make the choice. It's not one that many people would end up regretting.
We want you to join because you want to join. and that's a prerequisite.
You know, Freemasonry comes down to being a fraternity. The fellowship truly is what is probably our greatest secret and our greatest draw. The relationships you build last a lifetime. The connections you make are unparalleled in any other organization.
Take a long, hard introspective look and think, am I ready to take a pledge to belong to something that will ask me to be the best version of me, you know, to essentially every day say, well, am I going to be a good guy or a bad guy? When you pledge to become a Mason, every day you're a good guy.